From the center of the galaxy, this is ForceCenter's Show and Tell. I'm Ken Napzok.
I'm Joseph Scrimshaw.
And we're here to pull things out from our own Star Wars collection and show them and tell you about them. It's just like we all learned in elementary school, Joseph.
Yeah, that fun event that was a pull, show, and tell. I like you adding pull to it. Pull it out, show, tell.
And that could, there's different ways to interpret that on the playground as well. But this was always one of my favorite things in school. One of my favorite moments was being able to bring my Cobra Hiss tank to school, like to pack it up. I even brought the Hiss driver, the Cobra Hiss tank driver. He was going to get a little lunch at school as well. I've always just enjoyed sharing toys, Joseph. It starts early and keeps going.
Yeah, I'm so amazed by that. I never had an opportunity to pull and show and tell my toys at school. That's amazing.
That maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. So if you're new to this show here, we are from the ForceCenter podcast feed. It's me, Joseph, and Jennifer Landa as well. And we are mostly a podcast feed, but we've been having fun going over to YouTube with the power of devices like StreamYard, which makes it a lot easy for old folks like me who don't understand all the technologies in life because I've been busy collecting toys. Joseph, you and I, we're Star Wars fans. That means we've been collecting since the 70s.
Yes. And with, some spikes in there, some huge spikes. I'm currently in a spike.
Yeah, it does come and go. There's things I'm not sharing these officially, but I literally got bags of Phantom Menace figures that I got to go through.
I love that they're in baggies. Speaking of
this one. Go ahead, sir.
No. It just they look very illicit. They look like I'm gonna be walking the streets of Burbank, and you will approach me and go, "Hey, I got a baggie of Phantom Menace figures," and I would give you money for that.
You want an 80 Gallia? I got one.
Yeah.
Not my official share. It's been on too many other shows for it to be a surprise, but I've talked about it. I've finally getting a hold of my Yoda.
Oh, he's so amazing.
Yeah, so I guess technically it's a show and tell, but yeah, it's just Puppet Yoda. Yoda, which by the way, Puppet Yoda, I don't need the figure. Very clear male pattern baldness, which I identify with. Good thing, yeah. And Secret Freeborn. So as we do here, well, we usually have two items, like a kind of a runner-up, and then the main one we want to share. So Joseph, let's dive right in. What you got for your runner-up?
Yeah, I've shared a lot of things that are a little older or a little weirder. I wanted to start with some kind of figure or toy, and I decided to share something that's just been on my bookshelf for not as long, looking out at me every day, and really it's been getting into my soul that it's not only beloved by me, it's a little bit weird, and it is a Chewbacca Funko Pop from The Last Jedi, but a little bit different. Looky here. It is the Chewie holding a porg.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
There's so much going on with this guy. It is, of course, the relationship between Chewbacca and porgs, one of the great comedy bits of The Last Jedi. Not only the eating, but then them becoming travel companions and infiltrating the cockpit and the great roar of the porg. But then this Funko Pop, you see, it's a representation of everything I just described. But what is really going on there? It looks like Chewie is at show and tell, like he's at the Resistance base and they're having a show and tell, like, this is a porg. I'm holding it out so you may see it. And then the look on Chewie's face with with his mouth just a little bit open, like,
but I gotta bring you up on solo camera again. That captures I entertain Grace a lot with the house. In the house, we have the joke that probably a lot of Star Wars fans have, what I call New Hope Chewie mouth agape, where he's just kind of like through most of it. That captures it. I hadn't really paid attention to that.
Yeah. I had cats growing up, and sometimes the cats come along and they smell something weird, and apparently it helps cats smell things better, allegedly, if they hold their mouth open. So they smell something and they just stare at you with their mouth open. And maybe Chewie has just smelled the porg. Maybe that's what's going on.
That's it. Or Peter Mayhew was like, it's hot in here. No, that's great. I do own this one as well. It's out there in some storage. This is I've told this story before. I told it several spots about, we're in the Star Wars bubble. That's the toy. I was at a Walgreens. I bought it. I put it on the thing, and the nice kid's like, oh, he's ringing me up. He's like, oh, I'm a Star Wars fan, man. I love Chewbacca. Great. He goes, what's in his hand? I'm like, the porgs. What's a porg? From The Last Jedi. And he's, what are you talking about? With a new Star Wars film? Because there's a new Star Wars film.
What?
And it was 100% legitimate. I had to then explain to this guy what The Force Awakens was, what The Last Jedi was. I explained all of it.
I think you traveled in time. Did you look around? Was there? Did you see a calendar?
Like 1992. It was one of the weirdest exchanges I've ever had, and he was not. It was not pulling my leg on my life, because the conversation we had just kept. It was, huh? And that was the toy that did it. The porg did it.
The porg. It's so great. The Wookiee fingers are on full display to just really cup that porg. The way Palpatine cups a safe and secure society. Yeah, in this one, all the things mean something to me about, where they came from, and a lot of things I just buy. This was, I believe, a birthday present from my wife, and it sits on my bookshelf right next to the full-size Funko Pop porg, which also invites its own questions when they're right next to one another. So that is my runner-up, Chewie and the porg.
That's great. Wow. Well, we're going a little older, but it didn't enter my life until a little bit later. We're going into the Christmas in the Stars. Long
beautiful.
I'll move it over. Sorry for my camera, folks. This beauty. It's got the classics, Christmas in the Stars, bells, bells, bells. The odds against Christmas. What can you get a Wookiee for Christmas when he already owns a comb? R2-D2, we wish you a Merry Christmas. And that's just side one. And yes, Anthony Daniels is the one doing C-3PO. We have lead vocals by Anthony Daniels, Mari Weston, Rod McBrien, and John Bon Jovi, I should say.
Not John Bon Jovi.
Not Bon Jovi. Actually, wait a minute. No. Actually, wait a minute. I think you're right. No.
Is it?
It is. No, I got to look this up. I totally forgot. I believe it is. Someone told me that one time, and I was like, Blaze of Glory guy? What? I mean, Bon Jovi, Slippery the Wet. I get it. I think that is him. John Bon Jovi. Yeah.
Slippery when frozen in carbonite. John Bon Jovi. Amazing.
I'm stumbling over the word like I'm asking questions in a trivia contest. And no, that is right. I totally have had that conversation with someone before.
That's insane. Have you listened to it? Have you pulled it out and put it to a needle?
So I haven't done it now since I acquainted myself. I keep talking about this mythical 10 to 12 boxes of storage I got from my friend's house that I had put in there around the time of Revenge of the Sith. And he finally was like, can you get your crap? And I've just found a lot of things that are gone, recycled, burnt in a fire now, intentionally by me in a fire pit, or I'm like pulling it out going, oh my gosh, this was one of them. So I did listen to it back in the day, but Grace and I have a couple record players. I think we'll break it out. Look at this art, by the way. I mean, just look at 3PO just sitting there with Santa.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so beautiful because it's. I love that you have the actual LP. I only have a CD. That's a whole story too of a great time I got that. But it's just we live in a pop culture world that is so influenced by Star Wars, and it's great to see these old things where Star Wars was trying to integrate itself into the rest of pop culture with variety shows and Christmas albums, and there's no way. There wasn't a bunch of people chasing the rumors of there's going to be an LP. Is it going to be canon? Like nobody ever asked, is Christmas in the Stars canon?
Bells. So this little thing, if you can see right here, there's this little cutout of the case. So here's the story of how I got this. As a lot of you know, because I don't shut up about it probably enough. I was a rock DJ in the mid '90s at K-Bar 95, my hometown of Pismo Beach, California, and they had a production library. So there was a lot of weird things that they could play and everything. And this was in a stack of records, and I would sit there and just I was there for about 3.5 years, almost 4 years, and towards the end, time we knew the station might be closing. We know for sure. And I'm admitting to a crime here. I stole it. I took it for the production studio, thinking, if this place is closing, I'm walking out with this. And that's how I got a hold of it. As I took Christmas in the Stars, freed it for the future.
If there isn't any one message, I think there's many messages that maybe are in the center of the Venn diagram of Christmas and Star Wars, but steal this from your job, I think is definitely in there.
It's definitely one. So anyways, that's my runner up. We've already got stories on both of our gifts here. What, sir, is your highlighted toy today, or item, I should say?
My highlighted item is it's not that amazing of an item by itself, but it's an image that for me I have long associated with Star Wars, and it was from my childhood. And when I saw it again, I realized I need to own a copy of that image, and I realized how much the image, I think, has faded from the mainstream of Star Wars consciousness. Mm-hmm. It is this promotional photo of Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker. So, all right, there are a couple things going on here.
Yeah.
One is, it's Dagobah, and it's a, just a cool, great look at his Bespin outfit on Dagobah with the blaster and the cool shoulder pocket and all that going on. But, of course, a great expression on his face, fear, concern, evokes the cave. But, of course, what's going on with his hand? It looks like he is about to put his hand on the long part of the lightsaber, right?
How do these work?
Is this image new to you? Have you seen this before? Do you remember it?
I have definitely not seen this particular image. I'm racking my brain. Hopefully I don't lose a point here in a contest, but I don't think I've ever really seen that.
Yeah, and what's I realize what's powerful about it to me is, again, this is one of these age things. I was, alive and aware of the world in 1980 during Empire Strikes Back. And this is one of those images that was just kind of everywhere. I had a folder of it. I think, I could be misremembering, I think there were trapper keepers of it. I think it popped up on trading cards here and there. I think it was in magazines. Might be in that Empire Strikes Back storybook. I haven't, done the research because it's in my mind as that folder, and just as one of the promotional images from Empire that was floating around. And so it's deep in my memory, and it's also a picture of the time, because as a kid, I didn't know the word canon. It didn't occur to me to write a letter to Irvin Kershner, because I didn't know who that. Yeah, I think I knew the word director, but I didn't get that. I could yell at him. But I knew that that's not right. Luke doesn't hold the lightsaber that way in the movie, and I think he would know better. Yeah. I think he would make a safer choice. I don't think that's something he's choosing to do. So I knew it was kind of wrong, but that's the way that kind of pop culture and nerddom was from my perception back then. Is sometimes things were just wrong. Yeah, Captain America would come on the made for TV movie, and he'd have his normal helmet painted on a motorcycle helmet. That's just wrong, but we can't have things entirely right. That's just the way of things. And this image in my mind was always like, how sometimes things just don't quite match up to the actual movie. How Luke, it's got his hand kind of over the lightsaber. That's the way this image has lived in my mind as a snapshot of the way it was in the before times.
Yeah.
And then I was at Dragon Con this last year, and I was just doing a spin through the marketer's place, buying some toy here or there, and I saw this, and I hadn't seen this specific image. It's just a postcard, and it's like, I have to have this.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I love because it's burned. Like I said, it's burned in your memory, burned into your experiences. It becomes part of the movie, even though it wasn't specifically.
Yeah.
Do you think he's like? Is he like Beric Dondarrion in Game of Thrones, where he's lighting the lightsaber with his hand like it's a flaming sword?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably just a quick, hey, Mark, turn this way. We're on set. We need a couple. And I might. Mark Hamill is extremely generous at answering fan questions, even though he gets so many. At some point, I might just tweet to Mark Hamill and go, Mr. Hamill, sir, is there a story? Do you remember? Because he's got so many great stories.
Yeah,
and this one has lived long in my memory, and is a great image too, because even though it's like it's quote unquote wrong, there's just such a great tension to it of what's going on there. Is he about to be like, is this Luke going, I have never touched the blade. What would happen to my finger if I just lightly, and it's just like holding your hand over a flame. Like, how close can I get it?
You're testing a beard trimmer, which clearly I haven't used in a while.
Yeah, definitely need it. So that is my my show and more tell this time than show, but my show and tell.
I love promotional material. Well, we're going to go back with mine here to remember the dark ages. We talk about that a lot, like 85, 86 into the late 80s. Yeah, Heir to the Empire was coming out, and that meant, we got some life in Star Wars. It's not just something completely in my past. All right. And then if you remember this, Joseph, you remember when these were released and we thought, oh my gosh, Star Wars toys are back. That's right. I've got my Darth Vader bending. My collect 'em all bendable posable toy from Just Toys, Lord Darth Vader. As you can see there, he is ready to be bent into the position you want Vader to be in.
And I didn't remember that he came in testifying before a federal grand jury pose.
He came wow.
It's the
He I don't know. Yeah, he totally, I swear to tell the whole truth at first. And nothing but the truth. Then on the back, if you want to collect them all there, you got all some mailway stuff there. Free offer, Star Wars Galaxy trading cards from Topps if you want those. So that and that Star Wars Galaxy logo right there. I remember that was pretty big. That was kind of what it looked like when Star Wars started to come back in a way.
Oh, yeah. I remember, this is so weird. I didn't know you were going to show and tell your Bendum, but I was thinking about the Bendums this morning because I was thinking about the planning for show and tell, the journey of when Star Wars it has kind of disappeared from consciousness and then spiked again. And I remember so desperately wanting and dreaming, like, would they ever make Star Wars action figures again? And seeing at Target the Bendums and went, close, but no cigar for me, Star Wars. But I was still so excited to see them because it was anything.
Yes. 1993. So 1993, that was it. And Power of the Force 2 was 2 years away. And yeah, this was it. You're right, Joseph. And I just remember, I don't remember how I got this. I think this might have been a gift from someone who's like, you like Space Wars, right? And it's been there unopened ever since.
Yeah.
I was like, do I open this on air? And I was just, no, I can't do that.
Can't do it. Can't do it. We'll have, we should do an open and tell at some point where we force ourselves to open some toys.
It's dangerous, but good. And I like it. The one final note on this here, we'll get on out of here. There was on the bottom, Lord Darth Vader, accurate. But remember, Joseph, we weren't sure what a Sith was.
No, I remember my trading cards that said, Darth Vader, Lord of the Sith. And like, what's a Sith? Is that a kind of car?
I took it as like he was affiliated with Cobra Commander, going back to G.I. Joe. There was some Sith. There was some connection there. So Darth Vader Bendum. I think I have a memory that I might have had a 3PO Bendum at some point, but that is missing in action. So 3PO. I just have the you singing Christmas songs.
If Anthony Daniels could have voiced a Bendum, he would have.
He would have indeed. So that is almost time to get on out of here. This is what we do here, ForceCenter Show and Tell. We share these are in our collections. Why some of these are still in our collections 25, 30, 35 years later? Well, there's emotional reasons why. And you know what, Joseph? That's part of celebrating Star Wars.
It is. That's what's beautiful about it. It's a journey that walks with you through life.
We are out of here. You can follow us on our podcast feed, ForceCenter Pod, on Twitter. You can go like our Facebook page. We're on Instagram. You can go get shirts like this prequel shirt. One of our early designs, really base simple design on tpublic.com/user/ForceCenter. We get our own stuff. Links are all in the descriptions below. And don't forget, Joseph, everyone needs to subscribe and hit bells.
Yeah, hit bells, ring things, dance, whatever helps.
This also has been two guys with gray beards. We'll put that in the YouTube tags and see what that gets us. It's been a lot of fun. All right, we're out of here. We'll see you next time on ForceCenter Show and Tell.